So let's get things started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Again, I am Kate. I am the marketing director here at Cadre, and we developed CadreTalk to give you guys a 30-minute break in your afternoon. Grab a cup of coffee, glass of water if you want, and just meet up with an industry pro and pick their brain a little bit. So we hope that even if you only take one thing away from you today, even if it's just a mental break, that's never a bad thing. We think that we have won. So that is a wonderful thing. So I'm going to get things started by showing a quick video. So hold on one second while I prep all that for you.
When the event industry gets knocked down, we get back up. With live events returning, maybe it's time to rebuild with a more flexible workforce. Cadre is the smartest way to contract event industry freelancers. Compliantly work with your own freelancers or access thousands of new faces from a single user-friendly platform. And with our addition of meetingjobs.com, post your full-time openings on the industry's premier job board. It's time. Get back up with us. Visit us today.
Excellent. So as everyone saw there at Cadre and with our partner Meeting Jobs, any aspect of staffing that you happen to need for your meeting or your event, we are happy to help you take care of. We would love to show you around, give you a demo, see how we can help you out. So make sure that you check us out at hirecadre.com. That's H-I-R-E, Cadre, C-A-D-R-E.com, and meetingjobs.com. All right, so all the boring stuff is done and out of the way. Let's get to the fun. Let's get to Bart Berkey. Bart is here from the company Most People Don't, and Bart is a motivational keynote speaker. But one of the things that I love most about Bart is that he's got a lot of experience in this industry. So he's not just coming to us with a lot of great ideas. He's coming to us with a lot of great ideas from a lot of experience in this industry, which is breathtaking to me. So Bart, how did you get your feet wet in this industry?
Yeah, no, thanks. And Kate, thank you to you and the team and Ashley for having me on. Excited. And during that little video, I don't know if you saw, but there was an opportunity for a keynote speaker for Cancun for October. So I'm going to go on and apply. Okay. Perfect. So good. Yeah. So the question, so greetings everybody, and love that we have participants. I love what you're doing. There is so much negativity going on right now in the world. It's still right. The great return is upon us, which is great, right? Businesses coming back, fantastic. But what happens is so many times we are so busy, and I'm hearing this from tons of people, I can't even respond to an email. I'm working 16, 7-hour days. So I love what you're doing. Take a deep breath. This is meant to be fun, encouraging, and relaxing. So thank you. I think it's a brilliant concept. How I got started in the industry, I grew up in Pittsburgh. I went to Penn State, and I kind of followed in the footsteps of my sister. She was in a hospitality program at Penn State, and I thought it was more interesting than pursuing literacy or the arts and writing poems, and a little bit more combination of business, yet still getting to work with people. And I have been in the industry for 32 years. Most recently, 16 years with Ritz-Carlton. Just took an early retirement, and that's when everyone says in the chat box, "You are too young to retire, Bart. You are way too young."
You are too young, Bart.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Okay. Oh, everyone is chatting right now. Thank you.
There we go.
I wrote a book about 6 years ago called Most People Don't and Why You Should. And when the pandemic hit and I realized that 90% of my team was going to be losing their jobs, I had to make a decision. Did I want to stick around, wait to see what would happen? Or could I pursue motivating, inspiring, encouraging people? And that's what I decided to do. I temporarily built a sales force of about 15 people, mainly displaced hoteliers and meeting planners. And I said, look, this is the project. I'm the product, I'm the service. If you want to go out and spread news about Most People Don't about me, join the team. And it gave them a purpose and a passion. And gosh, for a year until people started getting other full-time jobs and ended this project, it was phenomenal.
That is wonderful. And while we're on this brief introduction, I do want to say real quickly, thank you so much to David Reederman for sponsoring this Cadre Talk with Beyond the Norm speakers. So thank you so much for that. I know that you are one of David's people, so thank you again for all of that. And you had mentioned that you have worked with the Ritz-Carlton for 16 years. Is that what you had said? 16?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So with all of that in mind, I'm sure that you're starting to see, like so many of us, that we're starting to come back, which feels so good. And I think on the last Cadre Talk I did, I said that it feels really good to say that. But now because we're actually getting there, it feels really good coming back to full time and to before the pandemic, except I know that we're not fully there, whether it's staffing levels at the hotel, at the restaurant. I mean, just even within our own agencies and organizations, we've all had to wear multiple hats. And so as we're coming back, I find that a lot of people are getting what are people referring to as like COVID brain, and just like shutting down, getting really frustrated with themselves because the stuff that we were able to do, you could work those 16, 17-hour days without a problem pre-pandemic, but now I'm going, I just can't even focus anymore. So one, have you been seeing that? And two, how do you help people experiencing that?
No, brilliant, Kate. What we're seeing is that people in our industry, meeting planners, suppliers, hotels, DMCs, right, in our world, we need human interaction. And if you think about what stimulates us and what energizes us, it's meeting with people face to face. So this is lovely. And this is a great alternative. And we can continue this as one slice. But what we need is that energy from people. And I think that we're beginning to see that more. And when you realize that you had that energy, you had the right environment when we were working face to face, yes, we could work 16, 17 hours, not ideal and not consistently, but we could do that as opposed to 16, 17 hours in front of a computer screen. Oh my goodness, right? It's affecting energy levels. It's affecting motivation. Most important thing is to know that you're not alone. This happens to all of us. Be patient, take breaks, drink water, get up and about, and begin as your cities open up, as your towns, as your destinations open up. Get out there a little bit. And, and if you need an accountability partner, so Kate, just yesterday, my wife this was early in the morning. I've been getting up at 4:30 and sending emails at 4:30. Great. Now I'm going to bed at 10, but that's okay. Anyway, she said, let's go out and get a cup of coffee. Let's take the California mentality. We used to live in California, and before work, every single day, we would take a walk, a mile and a half all the way down to the ocean. Now, we don't have an ocean here, but we can certainly get in a car and drive to get coffee and see people, talk and communicate. So get out, see people, and realize also that this is training. You couldn't step right into a boxing ring or a mixed martial art ring without training. It's going to take some time for us to get fully mentally and physically able to return back to what we were doing in the environment that we were doing. So please be patient with yourself. We're all dealing with the same thing.
Oh, it's nice knowing I'm not the only one, and taking breaks and drinking lots of water are definitely things I am incorporating into my day-to-day so that I can get my brain back in focus. And you're right, it's like an actual physical workout, or even just a training for a normal job. Like, I don't walk into registration and automatically know how to do it, right? I have to have a little bit of training. So I love that you focus it that way. And I love that you had mentioned patience also. It's not one of my strong suits, I'll be honest. But I think that it is something that we need to be aware of, because a lot of us are under a lot of stress, even as we're coming out of all of this. And I think that that trying to find our way is a little confusing sometimes. And so that patience, I think, is going to be super important. And please go ahead and finding that
Yeah,
time.
no. And it just reminded me, I was doing a presentation about a year ago, and my dear friend, David Reederman with Beyond the Norm Speakers knows this. We came up with a topic of you can do anything for a year. Kate, this was 14 months ago. You can do anything for a year. And we walked individuals through 4 things. And one was flexibility. Second one was acceptance. 3 was being calm and creative. And the 4th one was being empathy, showing empathy, being empathetic. And it spells out FACE, flexibility, acceptance, calm, creative, and empathetic. And it just kind of hit me that while that message was really important as COVID hit us, we needed to be flexible. Things aren't going to be the same. We're going to be wearing masks. We're confined to immediate, all those same things. The same advice, being flexible, is appropriate now.
Yeah.
Being accepting that it's not going to be natural or normal right away. Being calm, taking deep breaths, being creative, finding new solutions, and then being empathetic. And I think the last part, the E part of it, is really important today because there are so many people that are having difficult times with so many different things.
Yeah.
It just because restrictions have lifted doesn't mean that the world is rosy again. It is still very, very difficult. People that have new jobs are drinking through fire hoses. People that retained their jobs, Kate, from before, sometimes still have survivor's remorse that how come my friends that I worked with for 15 years were let go, but I'm still here. So it's not easy. The increase in demand, and I'm calling it the great return.
I like
The great return of business is upon us. And some of us have limited resources internally as well as externally. You might not have a team of 10. Many of our hotel friends, instead of having 120 people take care of a sold out hotel over the weekend, maybe they have 30. So
Wow.
there's a lot of adjusting. There's a lot of flexibility, acceptance, being calm and empathetic. And the reason why I stressed empathy is when you're having a bad day, think about what you can do to brighten someone else's. Everyone has stuff going on. If you can give to others, get out of your own head and give to others. I answered probably 20 questions that you didn't ask, Kate, so that was good.
That's wonderful. It helps cross a few of the other ones that I had wanted to ask off of my list. So during this great return, I know that a lot of people on our CadreTalk today are freelancers. And so during this great return, during this great quiet time of COVID, we all sat quietly and hibernated for a while. But as we're coming back out again, how do we make sure that we can really stand out and make that impression that we want?
Oh, love it. The name of my company is Most People Don't. The name of my book is Most People Don't and Why You Should. There are ways that you can differentiate yourself. There's ways that companies can differentiate themselves. And the advice that I give to anyone asking, how can I stand out? It's simply this. And you were talking about a little takeaway. Remember, right? And I just learned this from my friend Peggy the other day, the rule of 3. You can remember 3 words. Most people don't. And the advice is do what most people don't. So in order to stand out when you're coming back to reality, be creative, show intent, execute flawlessly, be committed to what you're doing, show excellence in what you are doing, ask questions, help others. In all of these things, the whole point about empathy, there's a statistic that 80% of people are not predisposed to being empathetic. If you can return to the workforce, 80%, it's kind of crazy.
It's staggering to me.
In our lovely cadre meetings and event industry, we probably have more empathy than others, but overall, 80% of people are not predisposed to empathy. So when you return back to the workforce, and I just bought the URL for this, doingdecency.com, and I'll have that link to my website, but doing decency, being kind, that is going to separate you from everyone else, because a lot of people are going to be concerned about shining on their own, guess what? You're going to be shining, but you're going to be rising with people. You're going to blow up and you're going to toe up, meaning you're going to bring people with you. Do excellent work, support people, help them, and probably ask how people are doing and actually pay attention to the response. And I think that that's, a lot of times people are so busy. It's like, hey, how you doing? Well, no, Kate, tell me, how are you? Right? How can I help you, Kate? Is there anything I can do to help you? I want you to succeed. How does that make you feel? And I heard this from another friend, Shannon, the other day. She said her best leader came up to her day one and said, Shannon, we hired you for a reason. I don't want you to change anything about you. Nice. Just be you. And imagine if we create that type of positivity in the workforce, just be you, right? Kate, Ashley, you were selected to just be you. Isn't that going to make you feel good? And isn't that going to make you get through these 16-hour days? And perhaps not enough time, not enough resources. It's going to help. Definitely.
And by being me and being encouraged to be me, having that level of empathy, I think is only going to make each person within the organization thrive and not feel challenged. Because I think that we've grown up for so long having corporate America be a challenge, person against person. And so I think that building each other up is such a wonderful thing. And that kindness aspect is really just a service to everybody. In your studies, have you seen, are there techniques that you can share with us in how to help others, encourage them, get them on the same page so that, I'm ready to thrive, I'm ready to fly and make our company grow? How do I make sure that the rest on our team are in that same position?
Sure. It's about communication, most importantly, and it needs to be part of the culture that either exists or that is being created. Okay. I spoke with another event planner just yesterday, and she said it has been 14 months. And I'll say he, so you won't know who it is. He told me that there was no communication from their corporate office as to when they would be returning. He still had one-on-ones with his supervisor, but it was, well, I hear this, but I really don't know. I don't know when we're coming back to the office. I'm not sure when we're going to go full blown with all of our live events. And that was very, very frustrating. So one, it needs to start with the culture of the company and the influence that we as employees can have to contribute to the culture. And once that culture is set, then it's about communication. And it doesn't just need to be the boss coming up with ideas. It can be all of us coming up with ideas. So I think culture and communication are critically important. And then for people, and I asked this question the other day, there's a young lady, her name is Claude Silver with VaynerMedia. She works with Gary Vaynerchuk, brilliant social digital marketing company. And she said that her Nana was her hero. Whenever they would go to the store, her Nana would look at the name badge of the person. So Kate, do me a favor, right? Kate was the cashier. Kate, do me a favor and have a blessed day. Kate, do me a favor and have a blessed day. And I think the more stories that we can share like that, and as Maya Angelou would say, it's not about what we do for people, but it's how we make them feel. And there's a more eloquent way of saying that. But I believe that the more that we share how we can make people feel and they see the benefits of doing, then I believe they will understand, because not everyone is going to think, let me read the name badge of the restaurant server. Let me read the name badge of the cashier worker. But if you do, and you just say something simple, do me a favor, Bart, have a blessed day, or have a pleasant day, or have an incredible day. Thank you for your help. Isn't that going to go a far way? I just had an experience. I was opening up a different checking account, and this one lady helped me beyond reason. She was phenomenal. Used my name, greeted me, held the door open for me, just, cleaned off the pen, everything that I possibly wanted. And I thought, other people need to know about this. So while she was there, she was doing some computer work. I said, may I have a piece of paper? I want to write a note to your supervisor. I know he's not here today, but I want to write this note. And then as we left, and I said, and I just want everyone to know, all these other bankers, that she's a superstar.
Yeah.
That she's a superstar. So do that. And she was so touched. I had another gentleman that was interning with me. Shout out Danny. And on his first day, he already got the job. He was going to do what most people don't do. And he brought in 3 handwritten notes. All of the interviews were via Zoom, right? Via webinar. So he had never met any of the new current employees that hired him. And on his first day, he did what most people don't. He already got the job, but he wrote 3 handwritten notes and he gave them to the president, the HR manager, and the colleague, these 3 people that are going to be in the office. The HR manager almost cried and said, this is the first handwritten note that I ever got from an employee.
Wow.
And what did it cost him, Kate?
Right. Nothing. Maybe 5 minutes of his time, right?
Yeah. Didn't even need a stamp, right? He hand delivered it. And I think if we share more stories like that, then people will get the goosebumps and they'll develop more empathy and they'll do more nice things for each other.
That's wonderful. I love these stories. I mean, I see them on the news every once in a while, and I just love seeing them. And, I take, my own personal notes like, oh, what did they do? What can I do? But I think one of the things that I love about the story that you just told is you also did what most people don't, is you took that extra step to write that note to the bank supervisor to let them know, even though they're not in there at the time, that this person did a wonderful job. And so not only are you telling the story about her doing what most people don't, but Bart, you also were doing what most people don't. So congratulations.
No, well, thank
you. Your goal. You
but
are your walking message.
And thank you, Kate, for saying that. And the reason someone asked me, why did I write the book? Most people don't, and why you should. And I started writing a blog for a different publication a long time ago, and this story started to resonate with people. And I was getting notes. I got a note from a gentleman who owned a juice bar in India and said, your stories are so inspiring. I read them to my staff every single week. So, with the internet, everything is worldwide. So I then took some of my favorite stories, as a friend suggested, put them into a book. But the reason why I wrote the book is legacy for my kids and for my wife, right? My father was able to read it before he passed away. My mother is still around, and books hopefully will last a lifetime. Okay. I did it also as a reminder to myself. I want to be a better person. And I have this saying, it's easy to be, but it's better to become.
Sure.
I want to become better. Right? That's why I ask questions. And that's why I want to learn from people. And that's why I'm inquisitive and I'm authentic. I want to learn from people. And when I learn, I'm soaking it into my heart. And then if I can share that with other people that helps them, that's the goal, right? I got a note the other day, which was just blew my mind. Someone said, you changed my life.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. What do you say to that? I'm honored, right? I'm honored.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. I love it. We have a question that just popped in here. Let me ask it to you. Do you think that we will ever go back to pre-COVID office standards, or are we going to work in a sort of hybrid way, 50-50, work from home, office?
There was another study that was done. It was published in the Wall Street Journal. 83% of CEOs, and this was different industries, a selection of 1,000 CEOs, 83% of CEOs, when asked, want their employees to return back to the office.
Wow.
Now, conversely, only 7% of the individuals that worked for these companies wanted to go back. So I can just give you what my guess is. I think that if there are the culture of certain companies that have trust and respect will continue doing what is right for the employee. I think that that's critically important, because guess what? If they can't, then there was another survey that was done that was talking about people leaving their jobs at a massive rate. Like 23% of people were leaving their jobs because they no longer had flexibility. Life is short, right? We're on this planet for a very, very short time. People need to do what they are passionate about, in the environment that they like, with the people that they like, trust, respect, and admire. So I think that there will be some companies that ask people to come back. And then I think there's others that believe and can understand and can prove the results that we don't need to go back full time. You keep on doing what you want to do or how you need to get it done. And there's some people that want that interaction of going into an office.
Yeah.
So I think it will most likely be more of a hybrid, is probably not the right word, but a mix of remote versus in person.
Excellent. That makes complete sense to me. And I think that, again, it goes back to what you were saying about having empathy within the company and that communication, seeing what, I mean, just because the CEO wants everyone back, does everyone else want to be back? And I think that that's really important as well. How do you identify empathy within a candidate as companies are re-engaging and hiring? How do you identify that empathy?
And that's not an easy thing. And I learned this from another gentleman, the senior vice president with Edition Hotels. And hopefully I'm not dropping too many names, but because of my podcast and because of meeting people like you, I'm learning from different people. And when the questions come up, it's not just my answer, it's what I've heard from other people. So what I've heard from other people is, if you're looking to find great talent, observe them. If I'm sitting down one-on-one and I know, Kate and Ashley, that you're interviewing me, I'm going to tell you probably everything that you want to hear if I'm an intelligent interviewer.
Right.
But can you catch me? Can you catch me greeting someone if I'm working at a department store? I went to go return something the other day, and this young lady was remarkable. Lisa was remarkable. And she was simply taking returns from Amazon at her department store. That's what she was doing. But kind and generous, and, greetings, good afternoon, sir, and thanks for waiting. And can I see your receipt? Oh, Mr. Berkey, like everything that you would possibly want. That's the opportunity, keeping your eyes and ears open and observing people that are showing empathy, that are showing kindness. And then I'm not smart enough, but I'm sure there was a way to come up with appropriate questions that would dig at the point of empathy, in which someone could not go around the system, the interview system, to provide false answers. And I know there's great companies that do that, but observe, right? Go out and observe, even if you're not in a direct hiring role and you know that your company is looking for people, right? Take some business cards if you have them and observe people, because you want to hire for attitude, right? You can teach the technical skills, but hire for attitude. One of the best bellmen I've ever seen in my life used to be a manager at Home Depot. One of the best people I've ever seen give service used to be a manager at Home Depot. So there's great talent everywhere from the meeting and event perspective. Open up your eyes and help your company find more resources to help you.
That's so cool. So as we finish up this Cadre Talk, we're running out of time. I do want to let people know that I saw Bart speak virtually, of course, because it is that time. But I saw him speak a few months ago. And one of the things that he was talking about that really stuck with me, because I am the type of person who makes to-do lists. And if it's not crossed off by the end of my day, I'm I'm in trouble with myself. But one of the things that you talked about was creating not just a to-do list, but a should-do list. And I think that really stuck with me and will help others do what most people don't. Can you share a bit more, Bart?
No, absolutely. To-do list, checking off the box will get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Creating a should-do list that you get done will change your world. And when I talk to groups, I ask them a question, name one thing personally and one thing professionally that you know that you should do that you've not yet had a chance to do. And here's the differentiator. It's not things that I need to do. I need to pay taxes. I need to, go within the speed limit. I need to attend meetings and get results. And it's not the things that I want to do, because that's all about freedom and perhaps hobbies and leisure related. I want to travel more. I want to do things. But the things that you know that you should do, you are determining them. No one else is telling you. I should be a better son to my mother. And I'm getting a reminder, right, via my phone 3 times a day, right? I need to do my best to be a better son. So the whole aspect is identify what your should do's are. And then when I present to groups, when we have longer amounts of time and you select me to be your workshop or keynote speaker, thumbs up, hashtag David Reederman, that I go through tools, not only the philosophy, but tools. And it deals with accountability, motivation, discipline, and how can you remember those things to make sure that you're moving your should do's to the done category. Personally, I've been able to do it. That's what I've learned. And it is a game changer.
On that note, Bart, that is the best way to end. Thank you so much for your time and your energy and your wisdom. Thank you again to David Reederman for sponsoring today's event. Everyone, please go over to mostpeopledon't.com. Book Bart for your keynote speaker. He is wonderful, comes with a bunch of visual aids if you need it as well. But everyone, thank you again for joining us today. Bart, thank you once again. We will see you all on July 1st for our next Cadre Talk. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your Thursday, everyone. Bye.